Yes, good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to today's open session by Class Economics. And here I am, Sundaravardhan, head of the Department of Economics. And indeed, it's a pleasure to welcome you all for this open session. And today I'm joined by my two co-faculties, who would come in due course. One is Miss Ashwati, and another is Shafiq. And as today's open session is titled, it is about the scope and opportunities for economics. You know, I hope you all might have heard of the Kumaraguru institutions and the Kumaraguru College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and you know, you are joining here with the fond hope. What holds for you all. For maybe the prospective students and the prospective parents about the opportunities that exist for for economists. And naturally, the bachelor's course in economics is the foundation to become an economist. That's how things shape up that you are academically trained to become an economist. And because unfortunately we are in a virtual environment, and it is customary to do all the presentations through PPT. Of course, I would do my PPT. Of course, it would be a small PPT. Before that, I would spend some time giving you the context, of the scope for economics before I go specifically into the opportunities that exist for economists. And this is how I planned today's session. We would go about for about 30 to 40 minutes, uh, appraising you of what holds in the scope and opportunities for economists. Then then we will open the session for interaction for about 15 to 20 minutes. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can jot down through the session. And also, if you have any prior questions, you can put it in the chat box so that we can address them. So, firstly, I would start with a very rather practical question. What uh, what would one get, you know, after doing an economics course? And as I said, BA economics course would be the foundation to become an economist. And naturally, all are anxious, all would be anxious, to get into some good paying job. I feel that is the ultimate objective, for anyone undertaking, any course as such. And a BA economics course would be no exception, I presume. Of course, it is said that if you work hard, no matter whichever discipline you are in, success will follow you. I hope that is pretty much ingrained in the family values, or all the elders say that work hard and you will succeed. But for that to happen, you need to have proper planning. You need to know where you are going. So all the trajectory you need to be clear about. This is what we would like to uh, give some idea on the direction how you can be being an economist. And at the outset, we always feel that we at class faculty, and as such, even at a personal level, undergraduation course, most of the students see it as a bridge course, because many students who do undergraduation, most of them, if not all, would naturally go for a master's courses. And we definitely suggest that completing a master's course in any course, and of course in economics, broadens the horizons, or broadens the scope for career opportunities. That is what we would like to stress, and that holds for even BA economics course. Having said that, Of course, there is nothing wrong. No, you can always start your career by even completing BA Economics. And we at class, we have a dedicated future center, which would help you, if you aspire for a career immediately after your BA Economics program. Definitely there are umpteen opportunities which I would be sharing in some time. And you know economics, probably, it is no exaggeration that in this COVID pandemic, the importance of economics has only increased. Though it is academically seen as queen of social sciences. I hope some of you know that economics is considered as queen of social sciences. And this pandemic, again, I stress, it is no exaggeration that the importance of economics has only increased. Though COVID around the world has affected people's lives and health, the second most thing that COVID affected is the economy. So it is very important to understand how the economy would be faring, not only because of COVID, and it is at the base of any society. So it is pertinent that we understand the importance of economics, and also it makes a pertinent thing as an academic aspiration to also understand, to also study economics as a discipline. And secondly, two three aspects which I would like to bring to your attention is that there is a lot of stereotype, that you know if you do, if you do, if you consider the non-engineering streams, there is a stereotype that commerce and management would place you better, in terms of employment. But it is less realized that economics, and for that matter other social sciences, are equally good in getting you, lucrative and profitable employment. you know the kind of policy centers that are emerging, the kind of, even for political science, people say that, you might have heard of Prashant Kishore, who is earning crores and crores doing political consultation. So the same thing holds for economic consultation, right? And this realization, probably it opens the scope, for pursuing courses in economics. And uh, another aspect which I would like to share is that when coming to the job market, if you observe most of the people who do their college degrees and university degrees, if you observe them, most of them, if not all, you don't see any direct compatibility between the courses he or she does and the job that he or she gets into. And this is the complexity of job market, where many things apart from your personal pressures and aspirations, so on and so forth, can influence the job that you land up. If you take the IT boom, there are umpteen instances where people who did arts courses, by doing some courses in the IT field, got into the IT job market and went on to make good careers abroad, especially in the US. Similarly, the same thing holds, for engineering graduates, who don't have any connection with the software work they do, but they ended up doing those software works, leaving behind their mechanical engineering or chemical engineering or whatever it is. So this is an important aspect that you all should you know uh, take note of, the compatibility between the course you do and the job that you end up doing. And the third aspect, it is, we are, it is very important to know that we are in knowledge societies. or knowledge economics, where engaging with the knowledge analysis has become crucial for employability. In this digital age, where so much of information is getting recorded, be it in the cloud storage or in the vendors storage devices, a lot of information that is getting recorded, be it in the business activities or export import trade or financial transactions, or for that matter consumer spending behavior. So this all makes a great scope for doing economic analysis, and this is what knowledge analysis is all about in the modern era. And in this aspect, even at the macro level, you have so much of data to look at: the employment, unemployment statistics, or how the government expenditure is happening, which all you know uh, makes a great scope for career in economics. And this is very less realized. I think it is time that we all you know be aware of these prospects that studying economics holds. And fourth aspect is that in the academic debate, there is something called globalizing south. Globalizing south, where countries in the southern part of the world, the southern hemisphere, are looked, they are seen, they are looked to be the centers of the future economy. And in this regard, India, people are looking to the Indian economy. Earlier it was considered that the Western Europe uh, pulled the wheels of the world economy. Then it was the turn of USA. Then it was the turn of China, and now people say it is the turn of India, because of its various advantages, prominent among them being the demographic advantage of the larger percentage of people in the employability group, which would drive the world economy. Of course, COVID has little changed this scenario, but if the situations turn normal again, the burden or the onus would be on the Indian economy to pull the wheels of the world economy. And it is also important to note in this context that, of course, we did have the colonial past, India being ruled by the British Empire, so on and so forth. It is less realized that we have not really started thinking to apply the social sciences, especially economics, to address our own realities, right? That's why they say that we don't have any original thinking, especially the social sciences and economics, where we are bogged down with vote bank politics, caste based voting patterns, so on and so forth. We have not really overcome them, and we have not even started judging the governments, where every term various political parties form the governments. We have not still reached a place or a time where we are not judging the governments in terms of their economic performance, because ultimately the governments are to better the economy of the society, and unfortunately that is not happening. And eh, the society seems to get into very petty things of vote bank politics. So this also makes a important or a need for studying economics. And slowly, after 70-75 years of our independence, we have just realized the importance of these disciplines. And and no wonder that this is probably the right time we should seriously engage understanding these social sciences, especially economics, to better our society, rather than you know of course, I would come to this aspect, rather than seeing things in a very transactional manner, right? Instead of engaging critically with the knowledge production, I say there's something called knowledge production, where you contribute to the knowledge process by producing and dissemination. instead of a very narrow transactional mode, where you feel that, okay, we are doing this course, what it holds for us in terms of job. Of course, I'm not denying that job is not important, but we need to see, because we are engaging with some knowledge process when we are doing these courses. We need to be engaged with the knowledge production and knowledge dissemination, where the transactional nature of doing a course has to be overcome. Of course, you know but ultimately it boils down, whatever you say, that ultimately the fundamental question comes, at the end of the day, what it holds for us after doing the course. Of course, I would come to this specific aspect, because that is the burning question probably, or the ultimate question for the anxious parents, for the aspiring students, what it holds for doing an economics course. So with this initial context about the scope of economics, now I would go into the specifics of opportunities for economists, and this I would do by sharing a small PPT. Yeah, this is how we see that, these are the broad pathways, that one can aspire, for doing a economics course, or one can aspire by being an economist. Of course, because of the space constraint, I have put only four broad pathways. I will add one more thing in the next slide, which is to do with the development sector, the opportunities that exist in the development sector. So to start with, you know, the first and the second one are more to do with pursuing higher studies. This is more to do with pursuing higher studies, whereas the 3, 4, and 5, they focus on the prospects of job market. Now, as I have told, most of the students who do their undergraduation, they aspire for higher studies. In this regard, I would like to highlight what are the opportunities that exist for higher studies in economics. And the second aspect, I'll come to the management discipline. First, coming to economics, there are umpteen opportunities for pursuing master's courses in economics in India and abroad, and where we have the future center at class, very well positioned to help you, pursue some of these aspects or opportunities. Like in India, you have some of the top universities like Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi University in New Delhi, then the Indira Gandhi Institute of Development Research, Bombay. You have the Hyderabad Central University. You have the Center for Development Studies, Ajim Premji University, Ashoka, and Kriya. And these are some of the finest universities in India where you can think of pursuing master's courses in economics, uh, and that would definitely, you know, open a lot of things to the world for you. If you are interested in pursuing master's courses in abroad, there are very good, prestigious places like New School for Social Science Research, New York, and you have some of the best European universities like University of Siena, University of Roma 3. Then of course you have this Levy Economics Institute. This is again in US, and you know of course, these European universities probably they require you to have working knowledge of that the language. Like if you're aspiring for Italian universities, probably they require you knowledge of Italian. Similarly, French for France and German for Germany. Otherwise, the standard requirements apart from your statement of purpose, so on and so forth, would be the GRE and TOEFL or IELTS scores, right? And for getting into the any of the Indian universities, typically you have to go and take their entrance tests and participate in the entrance examinations and get qualified. So these are the opportunities for higher studies in India and abroad. And you know it is of late, you know of course, management has emerged out of economics, where economics is seen as the management of the household. And lately, management has grown out of economics, specifically focused on the business activities, where economics focuses on the larger macroeconomic activities. In this regard, you know the economists can also aspire for pursuing higher studies in management. And uh, probably a undergraduate training in economics can put you in better stead than the other courses. It is not that I'm belittling the other courses, but that can put you in a more comprehensive, that can give you a more comprehensive training for pursuing a management degree at the master's level. And again, you can pursue the management courses in India or abroad. You have the IIMs, and you have some of the top, private management centers like SPJ in Bombay, so on and so forth. Probably, if you just Google, there are many known private management institutes where you can pursue, your MBA or PGDM or whatever it is. And of course, abroad also you have many places. And for that, typically they look for GMAT score apart from your TOEFL. And for IIMs, typically they go by your CAT score. And given it is a scope for higher studies, at class, the curriculum that we follow for BA economics, it is an excellent mix of theory, applied, and quantitative papers, apart from some skill based courses. And you have the sandwich model of clubbing them with the edge and edge place and the pathways that we are offering would definitely, I know, would definitely train you and place you in the best stead, in entering these institutes of eminence for your higher studies. Now, coming to the job market, you know, of course, I would rather lessen this aspect. Probably I'll not touch upon this. Maybe, because I don't want to also lessen the aspiration for entering a teaching career. That's why I have put this B.Ed, Bachelor of Education, here. And as with all other undergraduate courses, economics can also lay a foundation for you to crack or to prepare for these competitive examinations. We have come across many people, many students who have strong aspirations, to crack the civil services. And for economic students, you have also umpteen opportunities in the state services. There are statistical and economic departments in various state governments, which you would be eligible by default. And especially economics has an advantage in this regard. Then you have the banking services, especially you have the Reserve Bank of India services, which, you know, uh, by pursuing economics course, you would be eligible by default because they typically look for economists. And you have the coveted Indian Economic Service, and this is one of the prestigious central services on par with the civil services, which is dedicatedly for economists. Only those who do master's courses in economics would be eligible for this Indian Economic Service, and it is one of the sought after economic services, which you know we are sure that some of you would aspire for this. And coming to the private job market, again, apart from the commerce and management, the economists are most sought after in this private job market. You have different areas, ranging from market research, data analytics, report writing. This would be more to do with the business and economics report writing. Then you do have the economic journalism, and you have top companies like Deloitte, Frost and Sullivan, Ernest and Young, and KPMG, so on and so forth, who typically would look for economists because they would be working on various macroeconomic issues, and naturally they're in good demand. And economic journalism in India, you have a dedicated newspapers covering economic matters, be it the Economic Times, the Business Line of the Hindu, or the Financial Times, or you have the Thomson Reuters kind of corporate companies doing economic journalism, where economists are most sought after. Then you do have some technology companies who look for business analysis and market analysis. Like you have this ThoughtWorks, which is just in the adjacent to the Kumaraguru campus. So in these universities also you have a lot of opportunities. And you have something called supplier diversity. I would request who are there in this particular session, just Google it out. This particular business program in the USA, it is a $1 billion business program, and where you can aspire to get into those kind of you know uh, jobs or opportunities, and of course economics would definitely help you in this regard. Then finally, you have this development sector. Of late, with Indian government making the corporate social responsibility allocation mandatory, that all the companies who are making profits in the corporate sector or in the private sector, they have to dedicatedly earmark 1 to 2% of their earnings for the development of the society. And with this huge funding is coming into the development sector, where you have the non-governmental organizations working for the betterment of the society in various aspects, be it education, be it livelihoods, be it agricultural development, or be it allied activities like fishing. You take animal husbandry. So much of economic intervention is happening through these NGOs, and many noted organizations are working in this area, ranging from Tata Trust, Ajim Premji Foundation, Reliance Foundation, and you have in Tamil Nadu Agaram Foundation and Matram Foundation, who are dedicatedly looking into the education sector. So if you have an aspiration to serve the society and being trained in economics, these would be to go sectors for you. And mark my words, economists are highly honored in these sectors as well. Apart from the social work and the sociologists, economists are most sought after in this particular NGO activities. And complementary to this, you have the of late public policy has emerged, where economics is seen as one of the important components, and these can land you up in jobs in the governmental and non-governmental organizations. Like, I have only mentioned very few because of the time constraint. You have the Melinda and Gates Foundation, and so many foreign foundations working in the development sector, where public policy experts are most sought after, especially with economic strain. In this regard, Ajim Premji Foundation offers MA in Public Policy and Governance. Like that, you have many other centers and universities offering public policy courses. And as economists, you will definitely have a bright chance in pursuing these courses. And at class economics, we are for sure, would hone you, would train you to grab, these kind of diverse opportunities that are there. And as I said, these are not much known. People are more into a stereotypical view, of either engineering or a kind of a commerce management stream. But of course, the trend has recently changed, and you should also look into these alternatives where some brilliant opportunities do exist. With this, I end my presentation. Now I would pass it on to my faculty Aswati to share some of her thoughts. Maybe she would go for about 5 10 minutes. And we are having some issues with network issues with our other co-faculty Shafiq. If he is there, he would also share his views. Post which, we can take up 15 to 20 minutes of Q&A and interaction. Thank you. Over to you, Aswati.
Thank you, Sundar. So I think my colleague has given you a clear picture of what are the scopes and opportunities in economics. I'm just going to add something to it. And see now, given how quickly India has integrated with the world, the need for formally trained economics in industry has been on a consistent rise for the past few years. So, I'm just going to split it into two categories. Like, what are the career opportunities for students after studying economics? One is your academics in terms of academics, and second one in terms of general competition. First, in terms of academics, after completing your master's in economics, you can teach in colleges. Like if you want to pursue your higher studies, then after completing your master's in economics, you can sit for national eligibility test, which is organized by National Testing Agency. Securing high rank in this exam, you will be granted junior research fellowship for higher studies like PhD. And this test is also eligible for getting an appointment as assistant professors in various colleges and Indian universities. And secondary, you can also work as a creator for various educational institutions and online classes. You can also start a YouTube channel by small investment, which not only gives you confidence but also improve your communicating skills with students. And second, in terms of general competition, I can say like UPSC is conducting a separate exam known as Indian Economic Service, which was mentioned by my colleague Sundar. The minimum eligibility for this exam is to have a master's in economics, where only 55 percentage is the eligibility criteria of securing a 55 percentage eligibility criteria and masters will make you to appear for this exam. And it is a highly specialized and professional service within India, catering to policy advice and economic analysis in Niti Aayog, NSSO, Planning Board under the Ministry of Finance. And SBI and IBBS also regularly releases job notification every year for the post of probationary officer and specialist officer. uh, NABARD also the other banking thing, which also releases vacancy every year for limited post for officer grade post with students with good economics background. So, at last, like whatever like he has said, I have just added few more points to it. So finally, I like to say in a very a simple sentence, like long journey to excel in life demands ample time, like series of constant effort and perseverance. And there is a statement in English, right? Rome was not built in a day. So you have to really invest your time to really excel in life. So that's it from my end.
Wonderful, Ashwati. That was very interesting, very informative. And may I request Shafiq if he's there online with us? I'm afraid Shafiq is not there.
Yes, sir,
Wonderful.
I'm here.
Yes, Shafiq, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Very good morning, all. So, I am just giving whatever it is already discussed by Sundar sir and Ashwati ma'am. So, economics is a wonderful course which will give you a better opportunity in your higher education as well as for your career. And with respect to, I am sticking on the higher education field because when you are taking a course, you always think about what are the higher education option you will be having with the course which you are studying in your graduation. So after completing a graduation, the higher education options with economics is not only limited to social science institutions, you will be getting opportunity in different fields. Like almost all the premier institutions in India is having economics course or related the courses which needed a graduation or masters in economics. So that is one of the main feature with respect to the course economics is having. And if you have masters, and then you are going for higher education like PhD or any PhD program. So in that cases, the funding which you are getting, like as a fellowship or any kind of grants or any other uh, like support, financial support, that opportunity is also very vast with respect to economics. So for a person who is very much interested towards academics and learning knowledge or acquiring knowledge, the opportunity with respect to economics is vast. Almost all the premier institutions like IIMs, IITs, and NITs, and all the most of the central universities, I can say all the central universities is having course for economic students. So with a selection of economics, you can go for these higher studies. And career opportunities, like Sundar sir and Ashwati ma'am is mentioning here, you will have various options with respect to different fields, even public sector, private sector, and academic field, everywhere. So this would be a better option for you as a career as well as for your personal and social development. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Shafiq. And now we would open the session for interaction. So if you have any questions, please put it in the comments box. We will take it up and we will address you. We all three would be available for clarifications with regard to the program at class, or with the title of today's open session of opportunities for economists. Yes, and I hope Ashwati and Shafiq, you are also there along with me. Wonderful. Ashwati, meanwhile, if someone has posted any question, can you read it out so that I can respond? Yeah, here I see it's a very practical questions that are being asked about the fee structure in the college. Uh, I'm afraid I will not be able to answer this. I would suggest please get in touch with the administration of the college, where you will get to know the answers. And please do visit our website. A lot of information is available, and you can get in touch with the concerned for any clarification on the practical aspects. Please. Yeah, there is an interesting question from Prasoon. He poses a question: is getting an MA in economics worth it today? As this is a very interesting question. Thanks for asking this, Prasoon. Yes, because economy is at the base, for any society. As I have also presented, as I have also stressed in my presentation, that the COVID has only increased the importance of economics, and and the coming days would be more, putting all the energies of the entire economies to better the economy. So that would definitely make it a worth pursuing masters in economics. And the COVID has only amplified the importance of doing masters in economics, if I'm not wrong. And Ashwati, Shafiq, you want to add something to this question?
I think, as it was mentioned earlier, it's not only with economics, but in any degree in that case. Pursuing a higher education in any discipline matters a lot. It definitely broadens the knowledge of students. And that too in economics, it is must because the entire world is now questioning only on the economists what are the policies that they are going to bring to overcome this pandemic situation. So, in that way, I strongly suggest that getting a MA degree in economics is worth even today.
Yeah, sir. Can I add one more point?
Yes, please.
Yeah, with respect to studying in anything like whatever we are studying, in the main thing is individual development and developing as a citizen. So, in order to be a responsible person or a citizen, we have to understand the situation perfectly, and what our life is, or any person's life is determining is the policies which is made by government or different agencies which is related to us or our life. So you if you look into the policies, you can understand that most of the policies are related to economics or anything which is related to economics. So understanding this, you can take the example of budget. A single word in a budget is making a bigger difference in your life. Maybe your life itself may change in a single word. So understanding it is a must thing to get over, or to use that opportunities, or to face the challenges whatever it is. So the economics course has that kind of a power to make you to understand all these situations and to think in that way, and what else you can do for that, and how can you use these opportunities. So this is the main thing which is with respect to economics, and that make you a responsible citizen as well. Thank you.
Wonderful, Shafiq. Wonderful, Shafiq. Very well put. Very well said. I think you really captured the essence of the importance of doing economics, the importance of becoming an economist. And we have a couple of more questions. One from Karthik, Ananda Karthik, where she says, she's asking, what are the sectors that you feel that performed well in this COVID situation? That's a very interesting question. Of course, it is the digital technology companies, the companies who made the best use of the digital technology. They made, really well. They profited a lot, especially in this regard, the financial technology companies. You have these fintech companies, and you have this, that is the new buzzword, platform economy. So all those companies who are into this platform economy, they have really done well, overcoming, the problem of, you know the close contact. To avoid the contact, I think the technology has come in handy, and the companies who have made the best use of this technology, especially the financial technology companies, and be it the food delivery companies, like you have the Swiggy, Zomato. They're, of course, to start with, they had some problem, but with as time passed into the second, third year, they have done really well, right? And we have an interesting question by Sai Shreya Kumar, and Sai Shreya asks, she like Sai is interested to study IES. So how to start about it? Shafiq, would you like to take this question?
Yes, sir. So basically, we can go for the qualification first. So the qualification is you should have a master degree in economics mainly, and there are options for statistics and mathematics students as well. But the benefit of an economic student is this is actually an Indian economic service, and the questions, most of the questions, maybe 60 or more than 50 or 70 percentage, I can say, are coming from economics. So while pursuing your masters itself, you will be getting that understanding about different concept, different things with respect to economics. And when you are like when you are preparing for a national level test, which is which is everybody is looking for. So civil service kind of thing. So the hand in a subject will give you a better strength in getting that examination. So with the masters in economics, your burden will be reduced by maybe halfway or more than that, and you can crack the examination easily if you put little more time for that. So the basic thing, you should have a masters in economics basically, and it is supplemented by statistics and mathematics. So then you can go for this Indian Economic Service, and you should have more understanding about Indian economy as well.
Yeah, as I also pointed out in my presentation, that Indian Economic Service, you need to have master's degree, and because it is a dedicated economic service, and they see that a master's level understanding has a greater weightage, in entering into the service, and taking up whatever the job that is assigned uh, for a uh, for a civil servant in the Indian Economic Service. And we have one more question uh, from DSM, right? Sorry, if you can put your full name, that would be great. But otherwise, yeah, we'll take up your questions. The first part, I would go. The second part, I would request Aswati to answer the second part. The first part is that are there any other exams apart from GRE, TOEFL to visit abroad for higher studies? Yeah, DS. No, as of now, GRE, TOEFL are the only exams that are, as far as our knowledge goes, to pursue higher studies abroad. They typically go for the GRE score, and they go for your TOEFL, or for some, I think for some universities, they also consider the IELTS course. It is on par with the TOEFL to judge the candidate's English capability. So apart from these, there are no other things for pursuing higher studies, especially at the masters. Yeah. And Aswati, would you like to take the question, the second part of the question? What are specialized courses in economics?
What are courses? There are actually many specialized courses in economics. The one which is recently, which is popular and it is gaining momentum, is MA Environment Economics. So the entire world is now questioning about the concept of climate change and all those things, and they are also looking for environmental policy perspective of how to tackle this climate change and global warming situation. So that is one of the specialization which is gaining momentum in recent years. And you have Madras School of Economics offering MSc Environmental Economics in that case, and you have health economics, you have industrial economics, you have labor economics, you have development economics. So depending on your area of interest, like in your bachelor's degree, then at the end of the third year, or at the end of the third year, you will just jot down like in which area you want to pursue. So based on that, you can enter into specialization. And now, being our economics department, we are focusing on a pluralism approach in teaching economics. So like there is something called as HET, history of economic thought, classical theory. So we have many opportunities in that also. So specialization are really diversified in the field of economics in that.
Yes, Aswati. Probably there is some network issue at your end. I'm not sure.
So
But
that
to add to Aswati's thing, you have umpteen specializations in economics, as she was pointing out. Of late, the importance of environmental economics has increased, and we have places like Madras Institute of Development Studies offering dedicated courses in environmental economics, because there's a lot of pressure on the climate and the environment because of the various economic activities. So that has come up very strongly of late. Otherwise, you have industrial economics, you have agricultural economics, and you have behavioral economics, so on and so forth. And where in all these, it is important to master the quantitative techniques of handling or doing statistical analysis and econometric analysis, which we take a special care in training the students at class in their BA economics program, right? Then you have also international trade. In this globalized world, it is going to be more of a global trade, where specialization in international trade can can land you in jobs with very prestigious international organizations like WTO, World Trade Organization, and there are many such organizations working in the area of international trade, right? You have the export import banks, and that is also a very promising area. And of course, India being a agricultural nation, a lot of scope for even agricultural economics. And you have international organizations like ICRISAT, and you have this international fund for agricultural development, and most of the UN bodies work on bettering the agriculture across the world, and there are umpteen opportunities for agricultural economics. Yes, and I think we are close. We are running to the closing of the session. We have we have 8 more minutes. Yes, I probably will take a couple of more questions, like another 2-3 minutes. Then we will go into the campus 2 video as a curtains down for today's open session. And here I see 2 more questions. There is an interesting question by Harish Ravi. Probably, he's an aspiring, uh, aspiring startup person, as I see by his question. How economics is useful, when we do a startup business? Uh, Ravi, probably this is a very too broader question. Again, the compatibility between the course you do and the activity you take up. Probably that issue comes for your question. But it really helps to understand the macroeconomic environment. What are the policies, the economic policies are there in the particular business area that you aspire to start, right? If it is a export import, uh, if it is in a startup in the export import thing, you should be aware of the government rules and regulations. You should be aware of the government economic policies, so that helps you plan your startup more comprehensively. So if it is financial technology, what are the rules and regulations a financial technology company should adhere to? And financial sector is highly uh, it is highly regularized, and you have to adhere to a lot of rules and regulations put by the Reserve Bank of India and the Finance Ministry. So economics would give you a broader perspective of this ecosystem, which you aspire to start up the business, right? Of course, there are very microeconomic concepts like economic accounting. Rather than your simple commerce accounting, you do have the economic accounting, where you take into consideration the implicit costs, which are not captured in the normal accounting process. So this helps you, how you account for your own work, how you account for your own time. So these things, definitely economics will help you in planning your startup business. I hope that answers your question. I would be glad if Shafiq and Ashwati can pitch in for this a very broad question.
Yeah, definitely. That was a very broad question. So, see, like starting a business, we have to understand the essence of how an economy works. So, there comes the role of your consumers. Obviously, you have to read the mindset of consumers before you're starting a business. So I think in that way, economics will really help. And we have a separate segment called as market research in economics. So it will help you to understand how the markets really function in an economy. So I think like economic, though it is a kind of a management related questions, I feel that economics has a really a broader scope in that.
Yes, Ashwati, you have addressed the demand side, where I was more stressing on the supply side in terms of the institutional environment. What are the government policies, so on and so forth, the regulatory bodies that are present, controlling or regulating any particular business. You have rightly pointed out on the demand side. It is absolutely essential to understand, the consumer behavior, and which is one of the building blocks for economics. And we have one more question by Harish Ravi again. Is economics helpful in doing Indian foreign service? Uh, I know as of now I'm not sure. Probably I would speculate. Of course, foreign relations, economic relations are also very important. Ultimately, these economic relations probably in many of the instances which determines the relationships between countries or among countries. I know Indian Foreign Service being a central service, we are pretty much sure that understanding how an economy works, maybe the aspects of international trade can definitely help you, when you enter into the Indian Foreign Service. I'm not sure how it helps as a kind of a syllabus or as a subject to crack into the examination. Of course, you have the Indian economy and so on and so forth. But once you enter into the Indian Foreign Service, probably understanding of the economics, would definitely help. That I think that's a very interesting question. Wonderful. I think we have reached the end of the session. Uh, I don't see any other questions. If you have, please, you can always get in touch for any practical aspects with the admin. Now, I request the broadcast coordinators to do the campus tour. Of course, I hope you'd all be interested, or to see how the campus looks like. We have a very great campus, very green campus, spread in about 150 acres. I'm sure definitely you'd be delighted to have a look at around the campus. Over to the coordinators to run the campus tour video. Thank you.